Tick.
And there you have it, you guys. How to upgrade your dating game. That was part one. Be sure to keep it locked throughout the show as we'll be bringing you more tips on how to upgrade your dating game. But for now, let's get into today's talk show. Now, bullying is one of the most serious problems that affects many young people in South African schools. I mean, it can lead to some serious emotional damage. Statistics even show that 57% of South African kids are being bullied. So here to help us unpack this matter a bit further, we are joined again by Stephen Taylor, Paula, our counsellor, and also the girls from Herschel High. Welcome, everyone. Okay, cool. So let's get talking, you guys. I'm going to start with you girls. Have any of you had any personal experiences with bullying, or have you witnessed it taking place?
Well, I think at a girls' school, often bullying is much more indirect. So I've witnessed it in cases like girls rolling their eyes or laughing at others when they've made comments, or teasing girls in groups, and it seems innocent, but a lot of the time it's made to put those girls down and make them feel small. And I think in this day and age, social media plays a large role in bullying. Often people will make rude comments on other people's photos, or take a screenshot of those photos and send them to their friends and make fun of these girls. And once it's out there and people have made a comment, it just keeps going round, and it's so much more difficult to like find the source of that and to suppress it.
Yeah. Now, Stephen, she mentioned that a lot of the bullying among girls is very indirect. So as someone who's been bullied before, how do we differentiate between, playful banter and actual, bullying?
Well, I think when it becomes personal, when you obviously take a step back and say, is this a joke, or is it what they're saying, is it real? And if it hurts you, I think that is when it becomes bullying. Yeah.
Okay, now Paula, we're trying to identify the different forms of bullying right now. So a lot of us have these friends that, take advantage of us, and they always make you feel bad for not doing what they want you to do. How do we actually, get out of these situations, and how do we actually first acknowledge that we are in such relationships?
I think friendships, it's important to know that they should be reciprocal, which means give and take, and we should most of the time feel happy in our friendships. Being taken advantage of, friendships, there are often times where we do feel taken advantage of by our friends. I think the difference is if we are taken advantage of over a long period of time, and also if it starts to affect us, it starts to affect our confidence, it starts to affect our self-esteem, it starts to affect how we are in our other relationships or at school or socially. And I think that's when it really starts to become a problem, and that's when we need to look at how do we get out of this relationship.
Okay, so would you say that it's a form of emotional abuse as well?
I think so, yes. If it gets to that stage and the person is really being affected in most areas of their lives in a negative way.
Okay, now talking about, friends taking advantage of you, have any of you been in that situation where you find yourself in a relationship where your friend is just not giving you what you are giving them?
I think I definitely have been in a situation like that. I know that I used to have a friend who used to take advantage of me, because it's kind of where they expect you to do things. You don't do it because you want to, you do it because you feel like you have to. Yeah. And I think that's kind of where it draws the line of being taken advantage of and stuff.
How did you recognize that you were in that situation?
I think because you kind of feel like you have to do it. You feel like you're forced to do it. You're not doing it as a favor to your friend or because you want to do it. It's kind of like you have to, or it's like the be all and end all.
Okay.
I think another example of where you could be taken advantage of is where you possibly have something that your friend doesn't have, and then after they've used you, they sort of cast you aside, or if you don't give them what they want, they exclude you from the group.
Okay, cool. Now, guys, you mentioned, the bullying that takes place on social media. That's very rife. And I actually want to bring up this video that actually emerged 2 weeks ago, whereby this learner was being bullied and actually physically assaulted by a few of his peers. And it was all taken on video, and the video actually went viral. So how do you think that we can sort of tame this situation when it goes viral? Because it never ends, you know what I mean? Does anyone want to weigh in on that one?
I think with the taming of the situation, I think that because it was a school learner, the school would obviously have to get involved and sort of try to get the situation under hand. And I think that it always depends on what the reaction is of the public. How is the public reaction? Is it overwhelming in a positive manner, or is it overwhelming in a negative manner?
Okay, cool. Now, do you think that, for example, if a picture of someone is being shared, do you think that it's a good thing to, do you think that it's just as bad to be the person that passes the image around or the video around? Do you think it's just as bad as being the actual bully that committed the act?
I definitely think that a bystander shares the same responsibility as the perpetrator in the situation. You can't be someone that shares the video, or in this case, and not take any responsibility for it. And I think definitely you have a responsibility to support the person as a bystander.
Okay, cool, guys. Now, what do you think are some of the most intense ways of bullying that affect young people in school? I'm going to start with you guys.
I think the most intense ways is just exclusion, because when you're at school you really want to be around friends and have those friends and have a support group, because you're going through a stage in life where you're developing your own thoughts and ideas, and you need like friends almost to have that outlet of experience, but also to have people to support you to go through those changes and those differences. And when you're excluded, it just makes that entire process of changing and figuring out who you are a lot more difficult to go through.
Okay, cool. Now we will be discussing, we will be continuing this discussion a little bit later on some valid points that were brought up by our panelists, you guys. So make sure that you keep it locked right here, as we will be talking standing up for yourself in part 2 of our discussion, you guys. But for now, it's time for us to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, more hectic.
Hectic.